in truth and in spirit Well of Worship Fellowship, or iTiS Well of Worship Fellowship. Today is Thursday the 15th of May. We're halfway through the month of May, almost halfway through the year. How are your resolutions going? How are your quarterly goals going, your weekly goals? You facing them? Or are you just going with the flow? Anyway, whatever the case, Thursday again. Thursday is our weekly Katchup Zoom meeting or online fellowship. Of course, the other one is on Monday. We'll have Q&A. But today we usually pick a topic and then try and dissect it from various angles, depending on what it is. Sometimes we bring in specialists. Sometimes we are the specialists, not because we know everything, but because we read, we have views from diverse fields. We have different qualifications here, different exposures, experiences. So that should count for something. Yeah. So today, being Thursday, I thought we'd talk about this very, very big animal. I don't know whether we'll finish it. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Doesn't matter, but we'll talk about politics, office politics. Typically, we come here and talk about politics in government and probably, in other places, but we've never brought it closer to us. By us, I mean us who are in the corporate world, us who are, running small businesses, because those are still offices and they're people. So wherever you have people, you expect politics. Today, we just want to look at it from the point of the professionals, okay? The so-called middle class, the people who go and spend all day attending meetings. They call them, basically they spend 4 hours in traffic every day just to go and attend the meeting, and they ask, do you have anything to say? No, nothing useful. So those are the ones we're talking about today. Okay, so, and of course, the managers, the bosses, people who run these organizations, some of them have worked their way to the top, others have navigated their way to the top in other ways. So that's what we are going to talk about today. Basically, how do you survive office politics? How do you survive power dynamics in an office setting? And of course, how do you win? Can you even win in an office setting? Okay, is it possible to win in an office setting? We know that sometimes people get promoted, people who don't necessarily seem to do much or have certain competencies, just because the boss likes them better, or maybe because they carry the boss's laptop when he comes in the morning. Maybe they make him tea or coffee. So you poor hardworking guy in your office corner, in your corner office rather, you're working really hard, delivering on your targets. Nobody really notices you. Some guy who's just, social will probably get the promotion. Okay, so how do you deal with such circumstances? Have you ever been played? You can put play in quotes. Ever expected this promotion, and then somehow it goes to another person? Have you ever expected a salary increase, and somehow somebody else takes it? Can you really stay neutral in the case of office politics? Some people say, I'm not going to get involved in those things. Can you really be neutral in a corporate setting and you get away with it? Okay. Like I said, there are many types of people in offices. We have people who climb the ladder based on who they know, okay, because the boss is their uncle, their nephew, whatever. So they always keep going up. They are kind of appointed. Okay. We have the quiet people who would probably think have some soft power. They influence very quiet, they never say much, but they hold a certain type of influence. Okay? Then there are those who are just loyal to a boss. Whatever the boss says, they're the boss's barking dog. Remember the late Tamarin don't used to say, I'm just a barking dog. So they are loyal to the boss, regardless of whether he's right or wrong, doesn't matter. They'll always side with him. Then we have the saboteurs, people who just go around messing up everything. Hey, the Kavuyo makers. Yeah, so basically we're just going to go around these issues. The informal authority, informal power, and the informal power. Like always say in government, the people with the titles may not necessarily have the power. Is it the same in an office setting? Okay. Do you know anybody who is the boss's favorite? Somehow the boss is always nominating them for that promotion, for that trip. Do you know people who normally know things before they become public? Before an announcement is made public, at least people actually know, they whisper in your ear. Have you guys met receptionists? Right? People who you have to go through to meet the boss. Do you know how powerful they are? Eh? They're usually young ladies, sometimes gents, but usually ladies. These ladies need to seem to know everything. Okay. Yeah. So basically, we're just going to talk about how to navigate this. Like I've said, it seems like wherever you have people, politics is part of it. We shall attempt a definition in this context as well. Yeah, but so that's what you're going to be talking about today. Yeah, and for me, let me just define politics like this. It's really the use of power, influence, or relationships to achieve your personal goals, organization goals. Basically, the individual is using their power, their influence, and their relationships to achieve their personal goals. So, people who say, I don't have friends at work, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to do a job, we don't have to like each other to do a job, and so on and so forth. How do you navigate these things? Because what takes you to office is you're looking for some goals to achieve something. How do you achieve them? Amidst this, what you'd call a sea of crocodiles, and so on and so forth. So, welcome aboard. All of us have worked in the corporate world here. I don't know about Flavia, my little sister here, but maybe not. It doesn't matter. But yeah, welcome aboard. Bob, let me start with you since uh, I know you normally have time to speak and time when you're busy. So let me just give you a chance before you get.
Wow. I don't know even where to start. Um,
Maybe,
I
maybe
mean,
let me ask a direct question. Is it
yes.
possible to be in an office without politics? Let me start. Or maybe we start by defining politics. Do you have a different definition? Mine is basically using
Oh,
power, influence, or relationships to achieve your goals as an
mhm.
individual. Yeah.
Uh, Now, I think it is very difficult to to be in an office without understanding the politics of the office. You need to know the politics. It is, in other words, you need to know how things work and use that
So in
knowledge.
other words, every office has politics. That's what you're saying.
Yes, it has. It has politics. Every office has politics. Um, and you need to know how that politics is if you want to get what you want. Now, there's a difference between doing it illegally and doing it legally. Okay. I'm sure you've heard stories of people who have moved up the ladder, especially in reference to ladies, by sleeping with their bosses. Okay. Now, that is also politics of the office, but it's the dirty politics. Okay. Uh, the politics that I'm talking up on the other side is to know what to do in that setup to elevate yourself. Okay, you don't have to, I'll use the to kiss dash dash of your boss to get up. Okay, but for me, and I'll give a personal example. When I was in a corporate setting, I guess I'm still but in a new location. Uh, at Uganda Virus Research Institute, I entered that place as at the lowest level, I should say, as we call in my profession is a technologist, as a lab tech. Okay, where when you look at the lab, that is like at the lowest level. And within about 10 years when I was in that place, I moved from lab tech to the lab manager. Okay, now in between there are like maybe three or so levels in between there. But I did not move to lab manager by, for example, doing data stuff. Okay. I just Of course, there was favor from God too, because somehow I saw favor when I got in from my boss that she decided to send me on assignments, even when I found there are other people. But how did he send me? She send me to these assignments? Is that when I started doing my work, I really did my work well, that I got her attention. And so when an opportunity came, oh, we need to send someone to the UK to learn this. Like she would look around and realize that I was the person who could deliver. And so that's how I went through, doing special assignment. Even when I found there people who had more experience than me, I left them on the bench there and I moved on. Someone may say, oh, did you sleep with your boss or did you do any? No, I just did my work well. There's a saying that goes that do your work well, that they cannot ignore you. Okay. And when you help someone achieve their goal, you will achieve your own goal. So in my doing my work well, my boss got the praise. Okay. And in a way, I got the promotions because the department was receiving good reports. And when she could look around, I would be like the person who was doing my work as I was required to do. So I was ready for a promotion. Now, that will get me to this quick point. When is someone ready for a promotion in their workplace? In a proper way, not doing the dirty work. You do your current role very well. And once you outperform your role, you are ready for the next level. But many people want to get promotion when even what they are doing currently, they are not delivering. They are delivering averagely on what they are doing, and then they feel like they should be the manager. So for office politics, you need to know it, that even why knowing the politics comes in, that even when you do your role very well, but you don't understand the politics, that, for example, you don't have to talk ill of person X who holds the powers, you may not get that promotion. So when you talked about a secretary who could know what is going on. Now, if you become an enemy in quotes, if you are at loggerheads with this secretary, even when you're doing a fantastic job, she may deny you that appointment with your boss by showing you that the busy he has a busy schedule. He has, even when you want to communicate something. So just know, if I need to get to my boss, I need to treat this secretary right. Not as special, because we have to treat everyone equally, but do not kuno nyantalo. Don't be on loggerheads with the person who is standing in your way to the top. Treat them well, and then you will be on your way. So in brief, for me, that is what I can generally comment about office politics. Know how it is done, and do it to get you on the top. But avoid doing the data one, because the data one, even if it may get you to the top, that getting to the top will not be sustainable, because anything you do anything you do wrongly, even if it will give you quick satisfaction, the eventual final destination is really destruction. I don't know whether that makes sense to anyone. I'll stop for now.
Thank you, Bob. Uh, First of all, you've agreed that politics is part and parcel of any office or workplace for that matter. Therefore, you just have to learn how to navigate it. You've given us a personal experience of how, in your case, it was really merit. You got in at the lowest level, did your job really well, caught the eye of your boss, and then you're promoted through the ranks until manager level. After it, you left for other other duties. Yeah, so that's the merit. And on paper, I think merit should work. Uh, Somebody with the best competencies should take up more senior roles. Someone with the most experience and competencies should take a role. But many times, let me not say sometimes, many times it's actually not the case. People who excel at their work never really get noticed. At my former workplace, there used to be a boss who would say, to survive in the corporate world, you need two things. One is competence. The second one is connections. Okay, so he said you need competence, and then you need connections. And then he added, in no particular order. Meaning, there are times competence will take you places, there are times connections will take you to other places. Sometimes it's not either or, whether it's not in that order that I have competence and I'm connected. Yeah, so of course, as we go along, we'll also be discussing how to, you know, which battles should you fight and which ones should you not fight. If you choose to fight against your boss, can you really win that war? Okay, knowing that he has power to influence some levels, to either get you out or put you in some dingy office somewhere. We'll talk about what you should consider before you take on your boss or even a colleague in a fight. I don't know who else can talk. Peter is still on the move, so I guess I only have Isaiah next. Isaiah, we've always talked about government, politics. We say people with titles don't have power. The real power usually lies with invisible people. Is it the same in offices, in your opinion? If yes, how?
Uh, yes, it is. You see, human beings are political animals.
Hmm.
So wherever you see human beings, you are seeing politics. There is the politics of marriage. There is the politics of parenting. There is the politics of siblings. There is the politics of public transport. Then there is the politics of workplace, the one that we are talking about. Now, what we mean by this term politics is knowing what to do when, how, and why, with who.
When, how, and why?
And with who.
Hmm.
Yes. So that is the whole subject matter. So the politics at work, however, uh, is a little bit dangerous in one way or another, because you know how our managers tell us that we are a team. So let's work together as a team
Hmm.
to achieve, this is our goal, this is our projection. And then we assemble in those board meetings, those meetings that we have every Monday morning. And then some of us every Friday evening, those meetings that we have.
Hmm.
First of all, the manager himself is playing politics to make sure that he motivates us and makes us do our role so that his department can achieve. So you have to play that politics to get people there. However,
Hmm.
while I am on team, I am on the same team with Jethro and Muyanja. Yes, I am working with Muyanja, but I do not trust Muyanja because I know anytime he's going to take my number. So even though I want to work as a team, sometimes I have to have those reservations to make sure that Muyanja does not shine better than I before the boss. So in one way or another, directly or indirectly, I start portraying myself brighter than Muyanja, because by all means, we are not competing with the rival company alone. We are also competing with teammates. That's the politics of work. So people,
Competing for what exactly? For the boss's favor, for more money, for promotion, all the above.
all the above, all the above, we are competing for your, I am competing for your office, and you also want mine. Sometimes I don't even want it for myself, but I want it for my friend or my brother. So somehow, somewhere, I will fail you, okay? And I will do that in a very
Mm.
discreet manner. So we are competing for more sales, because the more the sales, the more appraisals that you get, even though we are a team and we are selling the same products. So work politics is very dangerous. It is very dangerous. And actually, you do yourself a disservice to assume that you are 100% a team in your office. You actually even risking. There are some teammates in courts who are working for your failure because in your very office, that is their goal. They need that space. Now, you are at risk if you are not doing your work properly. Okay? You are at risk. Because people are likely to heap everything that has failed on you, the black dog of that office. You are at a high risk. In fact, if you are not good at what you do, then if you are a lady, you have to complement that with other acts of politics. You could sleep with the manager, you could sleep with your workmate, so that your workmate can always cover you up where you have failed, or you could even sleep with the top boss. That is if you are ready. If sleeping doesn't work out, you can even use part of your salary to make sure that you keep yourself into that place. So there are many things that we do at our workplaces that keep us at those jobs. Not because we qualify, but because we have done, we have acted, we have practiced political correctness at work. I think that is the new term now. So you are at risk if you're not good at what you do. And unfortunately, moderator, majority of us, we are not good at what we do. Majority of us,
Hey,
we are just not good. I can assure
hey,
you. Yes, you can even look, you can look around. Nkulamusiza mukyala wange be welcome. You look around in your office and look at the people that you work with. Trust me, people are incompetent. Number one. Number two, people are doing those jobs they are doing for survival. Majority of us failed elsewhere. And this is what we managed to get. So we are here.
and we are not willing to leave.
We are not willing to, because we have nowhere to go. Nowhere else. So if you're a manager, you'll agree with me. Majority of the people, in fact, if you're managing like 15 people, you are depending on only 3. And those are the ones that you push so hard so that your department can match other departments. Others are just around. They are just a crowd there. They're actually giving a hand to these 3. So now, because of such incompetency, then the politics of being corrupt, buying favors, money, sex, and sometimes even poison gets involved. And by the way, before I even forget, I would like to warn you people, stop eating from everyone and drinking office stuff and workplace stuff.
Hey,
I am here, I am speaking to you as a man of God, if you allow me. People will poison you and they will kill you because they want to take that space. They will. 100%. So you cannot just eat anything at office, and neither can you eat on these house parties where you are invited by a fellow workmate. You will die.
hey,
you will die because people want, yes, AB, whoever told you that was right, and I'm telling you to you again. People do not want you there. People are not happy when they clap, when you're given a promotion and they are clapping. Eh? They are invoking thunder with those hand claps. That's what they are
Yeah.
doing. They are not happy. Why? They are failures. Now, I said that it is risky for you not to be good at what you do, but it is more risk. Is it riskier?
Mm.
It is riskier if actually you are good at what you do in these workplaces and spaces.
Imagine.
Yes. Why? Because if you're not good at what you do, you can buy your way out. You can use money, you can use sex, you can use gifts, you can use anything if you're not good. And you stay there. And actually, no one minds you because no one minds failure. People are not comfortable with those who are better than them. It is in our fallenness.
Mm.
People are just not comfortable with anyone who is better than them. They go home, they exercise witchcraft, they go to these pastors and men of God, they pray for you. I mean, they pray against you. They report you to these prophets and witches. They backbite you. They're just not comfortable. Why? Because professionalism is foreign in our workspaces here in Africa, especially in Uganda. Let me speak for Uganda. There's nothing like professionalism. People are not professional. And people do not discuss issues. They discuss individuals. So if you are good at what you do, you have to be trained in the politics of making sure that those whom you are better than do not actually see it, that you are better than them. And that is the politics of sacrifice and favors and carrying their burden. If you are in a certain office, you must defend some candidates because you know how dangerous they are. You just have to defend them so that you can survive in that workspace. So for me, workspaces are political environments. You have to know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and with whom to do it with. You have to sit and analyze people. When your workmates are talking to you, please stop hearing what they are saying and start listening to what they are saying. Because many of us, we are communicated to, but we are not listening. So there is nothing like I was joking at workplace. Trust me, those jokes are very communicative. Thank you, moderate.
Thank you. And because of that, some people have opted to say, me, I go to work. All I do is I greet, then I go and sit at my desk. I don't talk to anyone. I don't get involved in KB, conversations. Is that really a strategy that can work before you let you go? Me, I
That,
just go to work. I don't talk to anyone. I just sit down. I do my work. Then I go at 5.
yeah, we go back to the when and where.
Mm.
To make that conclusion, I don't involve myself into this, talking to them. I just greet and then go and sit there. You have to first tell us, where do you work from and who are the people that you work with? Because some people will find you there. Some of us have these open workspaces where everyone is on their desk, but in the same room.
Mm.
Then others have our own offices, which we open and close ourselves. Now, You have to be someone big in that company to not involve yourself into the Rugambo if you are that big. But again, if you are that big, you need ears in
Exactly.
those conversations.
That's what I was going to say. You need to know what people are saying.
Yes, you need ears. So find someone whom you pay every month, who is part of that crew, who investigates and gives you information, what they are talking about. Because whether you want it or not, you're part of that sociology. But again, how about if I choose to be part of those conversations? How good, you are part of those conversations. How are you going to influence the narrative there? And why are you there? How are you willing to change their perspectives about life? So you cannot just say, me, I don't involve in that. I just work that. They will hate you, or gets way punker. And they will hunt you for that. And they'll make sure you get problems at work just because of that. You are not part of their conversation. Yes.
No, go on.
Yes, yes. Because you are not part, you don't talk to us. We have a problem with you. So the politics is like this. You be on and off. Just be on and off. Don't be just off. Absolutely. Or be on forever. You'll become the lousy talk. Eventually, you start fighting. Gundi yanjogerako gundi. Gundi yanjogerako gundi. And then you start fighting at work. It is so and so who told me. Those groups, because we are local. We are local. We are local. Because most of the workers there in your company came from Masaka. I'm sorry for those of you who come from Masaka. And then they went to Makerere. Then they went to Makerere. They got a past degree because Makerere is the mother of past degrees. They got so they are local. They are primitive and not so intelligent really. They have nothing to talk that is constructive. But you have to be there because this is the team that you have. So managing that kind of stupidity and naivety is also another politics that you need to learn. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. When to talk and when to keep quiet. It actually reminded me of an incident. A few years ago, there's a lady who was promoted. And of course, the office she was promoted to had someone else who was moved out. And so when she got in, it was this closed office. When she got in, you know how people bring their sugar, their coffee, their the office, so they can make their tea there. So when she moved in, she brought people to clean. The cleaner. She said, no, clean out this office. I don't want anything here. Then they said, Madam, how about this sugar, coffee? She said, I just take everything. I don't want all that stuff. I'll bring my own. Then the workers were happy. The cleaners, they took the sugar, they took the coffee, the what. When they took the food, then they made tea. When they took the food, they were hospitalized.
What?
They spent 2 weeks in ICU. They had poisoned the sugar.
Thank you very much. Those are our
Just a simple case of moving out of office, someone else is coming and they put something in the sugar. That's when you come in and you make tea. So they had actually put poison in it. That's how brutal office politics can be. Just remember that.
You have to be careful. You have to be careful.
So, Peter, can you talk now? Or you're still under Mama Narongo?
Hello.
Yes. Hey, Peter, you muted again. Can you talk?
Yeah, I think I can talk.
We can hear you. Proceed.
Now, I would like to look at at the kinds of power, the kinds of power at work. We have talent power. We have skill power. We have social power. And then we have administrative power. I think we also need to be aware of them and how we can manipulate. I don't know whether manipulate is the correct word. I don't know how we can deal with these forms of power, knowing who does what and who does it best. Number one, knowing who decides what. All right. Yeah. So I think also that is part of politics, or that is part of work politics. That is one. Two, the language of power. The language of power, for example, we have a teaching assistant. I'm speaking from my field. We have an assistant lecturer. We have a lecturer. We have a senior lecturer. We have an associate professor. And then we have a full professor. Then we have a vice chancellor, and so on. Now, these are administrative powers whom we need, whether we like or not, at different points. I also think that it is important to establish whom you need when you need them and how you need to make use of them. I submit at the moment.
Thank you, Petero. Yeah, so Peter, I think is just reminding us that you need to analyze the people in your office. You need to know, of course, there are those who have the power by title. I think that's what they call the administrative power. By virtue of their title or office, they have power or assumed power. But then there are always the silent power mongers. Let me call them power mongers. They're quiet. They have soft power. I think that's what I want. You know, they move quietly, but they move things. They never speak much, but they have influence over even the bosses and others. So it is just reminding us to know when, first of all, to identify them and when.
Exactly. There is a time when you need the boss's wife. You need to call her mommy, 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 and you know, and things will move in your favor.
Yeah, imagine that. Anyway, yeah, reminds me of this boss. Every time he would walk in, guys would rush. You know, when he parks his car like this, people would rush. One person would carry his bag, another person would carry his coffee cup, another person would carry his newspaper. You know how daddy comes home with various, and the kids run. Daddy Kurikayo. So this boss wanted Daddy Kurikayo every morning. And then this guy was saying, I mean, I came here to work. I didn't come here to Kurisayo, you know. And he didn't last at the job.
Yeah, because he was wrong.
Because he didn't do Daddy Kurikayo.
He was wrong.
Why? What do you mean it was wrong?
You see, what you need to understand about these workplaces is that you are hired on professional basis, but you exist and thrive on that job on a personal basis. And we need to understand this. We should stop assuming that our country at large has gotten to that place of professionalism. Bob here is in a country which has gotten to that level. Of course, they also have their problems, but at least they have gotten to the level of understandable professionalism. Their workplaces are professional, isn't it? You don't have to call anyone daddy. You don't have to call anyone mommy. In the United States, you don't have to do that. Why? Because culturally and sociologically, they are not patriarchal and matriarchal societies. They are not.
In fact, if you call them, it can be disaster for you.
Exactly. Because they are not that. Even outside workplaces, they are not that. You don't call anyone brother in the United States if they are not your brother. But here in our workplaces, we are calling each and everyone my brother. That is how we are. Even in church, we are calling everyone my brother. I have always referred to you guys as my brothers, and I mean it. You're my brothers. That is who we are.
And sister.
And sister. I have just anti naye yes sola kumita sister kuba ye wange boya. So you ye ebi mami. Ye ebi mami. Ye ebi mami. So this is who we are. By the way, Get, you should remind me to address Ebi as mommy. Now this is who we are. So when you get into African work environments, you need to learn that mommy, daddy is part of our ethical fabric. You are being ethical. Even when your bosses are giving out praise, they say, what they mean, you called them mommy. We have even transferred that to churches. You find born again calling their pastors daddy.
Papa.
Papa. And Mrs. Pastor.
Spiritual father.
And Mrs. Pastor, mommy. So this is who we are. Whenever there's someone who is superior than us, we switch to parenthood. So when you're at a workplace where the boss is an African, okay? Because you see, another thing, moderator, our esteems are broken and damaged. Someone has never been an LC1 chairman. Oh, okay, that is too much. They have never been a class monitor when they were in school. Lo and behold, they have money from Chikubo. And now they are the bosses. When are you going to worship them? Look at your president, how they address the president. How many people address President Museveni as Mr. President? How many people have you had? On TV, on radio? How many people?
Your Excellency, Your Excellency.
President Museveni is addressed as Your Excellency and President in the papers. But in these public meetings, Muzei, Tata, haven't you heard that?
Jaja nowadays.
Yeah. And these are ministers, these are members of parliament, these are judges. So the same thing happens in our places. So do not bring your rugezi-gezi, that is why king, in the workplace and say, me, I came here to work, not to call anyone daddy. Do you want that job, brother? Brother, politics, do you want that job? We are not calling that man daddy because he is our father. No. We are calling our job daddy in the disguise of that moving. That is politics. Do you understand these things? Hey, you just you know me. You know me very well. But I'm sorry, this thing is being recorded. I landed into Mrs. Boss, who is very dangerous. My boss has no problem. Him, I can deal with him. But Mrs. Boss has my boss under her shoulders. So at a certain point, I am mumming at work. Isaiah, why you people, you joke with the food. Thank you, moderator.
Ebi, can you talk?
Very nice.
Ebi, switch on your mic and
No, he should record himself saying that one. I want to see.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Ebi, you talk about politics.
Sometimes I tell my boss things that we should do. Do you know what the guy tells me? Now what you do, you ask mommy because I'm not around and I might come. But then I tell you, no, I don't want to ask me. You just give me the word. No. You can't talk to mommy.
Daddy also knows politics.
Daddy is a king in Nigeria. Daddy is a king in Nigeria. So all his servants, like the Israelites,
Their fellow inmates.
They are captives and inmates of the king in jail. You are joking with what?
Oh, yeah. One
We
day we
have
shall talk about
suffered in
politics.
employment. We have suffered.
We'll talk about politics in the home one of these days. Okay, now the other thing I wanted us to discuss: how do you inevitably, like we said, politics is part of us. We are humans, and therefore conflict or fighting is part of us. How do you fight at work, especially with your boss? Okay, now my boss at work is the kind of guy who, when he has a conflict with you, he'll go to the upper boss, like another level higher. Now me, I'm here below. Above me, then there's another one above. When there's conflict, he will report to the boss. He will report to daddy. That's how he does it. And somehow I've never understood why a grown up man would do such a thing. And in the meetings, always saying, I'll talk to daddy. Yeah, meaning I'll talk to the boss. I'll talk to the boss. And that one I'll consult. I find that a bit. Anyway, how should you fight with the boss? Or when should you fight? When should you lie low like an envelope? And when should you actually say, this time after can come, I need to stand my ground. Just need help. Let me start with Bob. Bob, can you speak? I know you shouldn't fight all battles, but I'm asking which battles should you really fight? Some battles you can leave, but some, which one?
You just give me a second. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Peter, Mr. Vice Chancellor, Associate Professor, Media Lecturer. Which battles should we fight at work and which one should we give up? In case Peter is still on the move. Abby, do you want to attempt that? Because battles will be there, trust me. Women. Some will say, this one I'm going to, this one I'm going to
No.
fight. How do you
No,
choose?
let me listen to this.
Angie? Okay, let me. Tom, can you talk? Oh, you are a listening post. Like certain members of parliament. Tom is still. Flavia, do you want to say something? Looks like it's just me and Isaiah left here. So Isaiah, I'm coming back to you, unfortunately. Which battle should we fight at work?
You are back to the Isaiah who calls Abby mommy.
Tambara. Back to Tambara.
Yeah. Before we even get to which battles, you need to, let's start with how to fight. That's what we need to get to. How do we fight? For me, I'll just share my experience. I have this model that I developed after knowing the people that I work with and the country that I am in. I developed this, I call it the Rujegere model, the chain model. When you need to have this long chain, very long, okay? Not a short one. You need to have a very long chain that is coiled in you, okay? Now, there are people who are going to pull that chain and let them pull it and go as far as they want. Make sure that your chain is that long that whoever pulls that chain can go as far as they want. But that far that they want must be determined by you. And it starts by understanding people. By the way, moderator, one of the things that we need to do is to teach people, because psychologists have betrayed us. They are not teaching us how to analyze people. They are not. and I think we are left on our own. Because the first thing that you need to do when you get to any workplace, or if you're actually already in any workplace, is to divide your time. The time that you spend on your work, that's your project, that's your mission, that's your business there. But I need you also to understand that the people that you work with are your business as well. If there is anything like minding your business, gentlemen and ladies here, the people that you work with are your business that you should mind. So you need to mind.
So they are your business. When they
They are
say
your-
mind your business, that
you are,
includes even the people you work with.
exactly. You need to go back home. You need to have a board at home. A board at home. You write their names there and write under their names the things that you know about them. At least the things that you've collected about them. You need to have that data at home. Don't keep it in your workplace computer. Someone might access it accidentally. You need to have, you need to, that is also politics. You need to have it at home so that you get to know who are these people that I work with. Because there are those moments when they get angry. Listen to what they are saying when they are angry. There are those moments when they are very excited. Listen to what they say when they're excited. There are things they do. Watch closely and note down those things. They are going to be very, very important and instrumental in the future. Why is it important to know the people that you are working with? Because at a certain point, whether you like it or not, whether you started it or not, whether you are part of it or not, you are going to fight with the people that you work with. I'll give you an example. We just meet here every Thursday and every Monday on these Zoom fellowships, and we're not even physical, but we can quarrel and fight each other. Just so you know the forgiveness meetings that we have sat in, or people who are offended on a Zoom fellowship, don't you?
Yep. Yep.
Now, now you imagine if someone is offended by what Isaiah says here on this Zoom fellowship, and they're not even seeing this Isaiah, and someone is offended. Okay, now imagine at the workplace. At the workplace, you are going to fight, whether you want it or not. Stop being a peacemaker at a workmate, because however much you try to be a peacemaker at a workplace, the fight will come to you. But there is no way you're going to fight an opponent that you don't know. The first rule in fighting, in each and every fight, is to study the opponent. So I am here to tell you that your workmates are your opponents. They are not your workmates. They are your opponents. Let me be straight.
Hey.
They are not your workmates. What do you mean your workmates? They are doing your work, they are doing their work, and you're doing your work. How can someone who is doing their work and they get their own salary be your workmate? Workmate, how? If you want to know that the people that you work with are not your workmate, you be the boss and call Isaiah and Jethro, who work in the same company, and ask Jethro whether Isaiah should be fired. This is now the CEO. Jethro, I have two workers, you and Isaiah, and I want to retain one of you. But I called you here so that you can advise me. Jethro, what would you say? Why are you laughing? Workmate, why are you laughing? Workmate. So these are your opponents. They are going to step on you if it comes to survival. So study them, understand your opponents, because at any given time, you might land into a fight with them. War unto you if you're fighting an opponent that you do not understand very well. So rule number one, how do we fight? How do we manipulate these politics at work? How do we maneuver? I think that is the right word. How do we maneuver the politics at work? By understanding the political players at work. Who has what card? You need to understand that. Did you see how America bowed to China? Yes, Trump told China that I have the cards, and China told Trump, we made the cards. So, at your workplace, do you have the cards or you make the cards? So you have to be careful. So, moderator, to respond, yes, I'm serious. That's why the guy told him. And as we speak today, Bob will tell you the United States has bowed down. So you have to be ahead of the people that you work with so that in case of any conflict, you are actually ahead. You anticipated it. Now, if it is a worker and boss relationship, you master what your boss wants and what he or she doesn't want. As much as you're working very hard to finish that task that you are given, work also very hard to master the needs and wants, not only the needs, but also the wants of your boss, so that you are always ahead. That is how you fight. That's how you maneuver the work politics. Otherwise, everyone we're working with is our number one competitor is not the rival company. No, our number one competitor are the people that we're working with in the same company. In the same company. It's good my brother Sabbath-day is here today. There is no tour guide that is going to take Sabbath-day where there are lions that Sabbath-day's tourists are going to see and pay. Any other tour guide will direct Sabbath-day to where there is actually a lion that has broken the fence. So that he takes Sabbath-day and his wazungu. That is how we are. So you need to know. Not every workmate, so-called workmate that gives you help that is actually helping you. Find out why they are helping. Stop building these relationships and stop building relatives at workplaces. Some of you have relatives. You are in danger. Hmm.
Can you have a best friend at work?
Yeah, you have a best friend. This one is like my sister. I see people giving speeches annually in these annual meetings. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. Then there's this new saying a few moments later. And you just can't believe what happened. Because you've built relatives into into competitors. How can your competitor be your relative? So understand the opponent. Then after you have understood him, then you're going to know how to fight, how to maneuver in the politics of the workspaces. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in a fallen, sinful world. Forget everything, born again. Thank you.
Thank you. Idris, my brother, my opponent. You are tell us about the politics in the tourism industry or even in your office. You have missed the biggest part of this. I'm sure you have some.
Politics, I think Isaiah amumazeeyo naddala owaawana. Isaiah amumazeeyo okusinziira ku katono ke njogeddeko. Kempuliddeko, sorry. And I think twetaaga okwenoonya, okwezuula and find our own. Personally, nga gwe omuntu and generally. Uganda, Africa, question. So that's my submission as of now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Bob, you want to speak now?
Yeah. I can speak briefly. I think Isaiah submitted everyone now. I mean, I just wanted to still emphasize on the issue of I'm brilliant. It's at all. So, okay. Give our eyes. Just Kakati, I wanted to just say, emphasize first thing, never fight with your boss. If you can avoid, the better. Never
Thank
beat
you.
the hands that feeds you. That
Thank
is
you very
a
much.
number.
Thank
Yes,
you
that
very
is
much.
a yeah, that is the number one rule. All the conflicts that you've seen people get into is either they threaten the boss, even don't threaten your boss's position because it is biting the hands that feeds you. Tactically do your work, tactically focus on your goals, and when the time comes for you to replace your boss, you will replace them even when they are still active. So don't try to get any fight with your boss. So in that said, there will always be some fights. Okay. Now, please ignore, and there are minor things that you should not be involved in. You find someone getting into a conflict that their boss is also involved in. Nga tebimukwata nako, you know? Nga you rather stand on the side and look, not necessarily that you should support your boss or that you should protect the other person, but sometimes the conflicts are so minor that your engagement is not necessary. Again, it goes back to the thing, avoid. Now, the only fights you should get involved in with your boss should be the following. One, when your values are threatened. Okay? I think I talked about it in the beginning. Boss wants to sleep with you, da 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 da. You know, like that is going to bring a lot of conflict. So you have to fight back because this is your life on the line. Whether it means losing your job versus sleeping with your boss, or someone will say, why don't you just you know? So when your values are threatened, hey, when your values are threatened, you are fully justified to put your guards up. Now, any moment you're going to fight with your boss, whether it is for your values or for protecting other people's interests or whatever, just measure and know that you are ready to face the consequences of that action. Okay? So when you're choosing to fight with them, know the consequences of what may result as a result of your fighting him. So once you measure that and you are good to go, please take that fighting on. Protect your values. The other aspect. So that's one aspect of fighting when you're protecting your values or when someone they want to compromise you. The second one is uh for example, when you want to change things. Okay? The boss is always right. We know that statement, right? The boss is always right. But sometimes you may have alternatives and you want to fight him on what he thinks is right. Now you have to do that tactfully. Many bosses, in my experience, a boss will not refuse something that is superior, that is going to bring him better results. So you have to do your groundwork and present your case to your boss, fighting his ideas with evidence of what you are suggesting. Then that fight will be taken on gracefully by the boss. But otherwise, and you're fighting the boss's idea, that is a wrong fight. I just want to give those few examples of when to fight and when not to fight. But fighting will always be there. Just try to avoid minor fights that you can let go, just let them go. And don't fight your boss. Yeah, that is what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to share an experience from their corporate politics?
Me, I
Peter,
want
can
to.
you talk now? Oh, okay. Oh, let
Okay.
Peter come first. Then
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Peter.
Thank you very much. By the grace of God, I've reached home well. Yeah.
Amen.
How do we, gentlemen and ladies, how do we handle social media malice? For example, I'm a teacher. I've been texting this girl, and my texting has been professional. And this girl decides to publicize my text or my texts. They go viral, they go public, or they TikTok me. So, you know, you're in class, maybe you're doing something, and somehow there is a way they can twist it, and you get live on TikTok, or you go viral in a, how do we safeguard? Because we teachers, I'm speaking from that angle, we teachers, especially at high institutions, we are highly exposed, you know, camera, audio, video, anything can happen. So your dialogue can be twisted, your words can be captured out of context, and you know, how do we handle social media and our safety, or rather our security, with others at work?
Moderator, you have another topic.
Eh, I guess you can have that. Can have a longer discussion about that. But again, some people have decided to not be friends, for example, on Facebook or whatever. There are those who say, "Ah, this is my private life." There are those who have two phone numbers. There's one for office, then another one for private. All sorts of things. I guess we'll come back to that, especially in the context of students and their teachers. But Isaiah, I wanted to share something before Peter came in.
Yeah. Professor Peter should put that on the list of the topics that he has, especially social media and how it affects people morally, people's professions, people's families. I think that's a very interesting topic to look at, moderator. Yeah, sure. Sure. But for me, what I wanted to say is was just a supplement to what Bob said, and I just want to put it in an illustration. Our workplaces are a movie, and every movie, okay, majority of the movies has got only one film star, and and until we understand that the boss is the film star, and whenever there is a mistake, we are the chibanda who must die by all means.
I know Chivanda, I know Sasulida mistake.
Is a film star. Until that gets into our head, we will continue losing our jobs and actually paying, because some jobs you don't just lose a job. Some jobs you lose a job and pay the damages. So the boss is not always right, but he's the film star of that movie you call work. He is the champion. Even when you score and achieve your goal, in your speech, you must thank the boss to enable you, to inspire you, to have educated you to perform the way you performed.
Actually, I know Kuchima Ngule, a success.
If it weren't for him, we will stand by the way. Because there's only one film star. And I think that is very important. Then another thing that Bob actually talked about, gentlemen, that we need also to think about. Choose your battles and wars. And by choosing your battles, it is not only ignoring some battles and wars. No. It's not only that. Just ignoring. It is also, Lord, how do I put it? You have to participate in ending those battles. Don't just ignore, but also participate in ending. For instance, a certain guy already at work wants an apology, and it should be an office public apology. Really, what do you lose? To be humble and humiliated, to end a war and a battle at the same time. So really, whenever you detect ego, kill yours. Kill yours and be humble. So that ends. So choosing your battles includes also participation, not just ignoring them. So this is the work politics.
Actually, I think, well, if you kill yours,
Yeah,
you become stronger.
exactly. You just be humiliated so that you can end a bigger thing. Kakati gwe obutaswala n'okusitula olutalo mu office abantu bonna bateekinga sides, osigaze n'omuntu omu ku side yo. Lwaki toswala n'osigaza abantu ku side yo abandikuwadde obutwa? Kill some of these battles at an early stage. Thank you, moderator.
Okay, thank you. We have about 7 minutes to go. But yeah, clearly, what we've learned today is you cannot run away from politics. It's part of the human condition, human existence. You just need to know how to navigate it. Okay. First, by knowing that nobody is your friend at work. These are your opponents, according to Isaiah. These are your opponents, they are not your friends. So associate with them, but you profile them properly. Listen to what they say and even what they don't say. Okay? Because at some point you need to use it against them, or to use it for you. Yes, so that's, and then also there are different types of characters in offices. There are those who have power by their title, who are typically the bosses. But then there are those who have soft power. Okay, they influence people quietly. They are opinion leaders. People listen to when they speak. People listen, but they don't necessarily have the title. So you need to know in your office who is who. Okay, the secretaries these days they call them administrative assistants. Usually the most powerful people in any office. When you access the boss, you must smile. So if you're in Harvard books, you'll never see the boss. The boss will always be busy. Ah, he's busy. He has a meeting. He has said, don't disturb. So the secretaries or administrative assistants are very important in any office. So smile with them.
Sometimes even the cleaners.
By the way, yes, even the cleaners. Even the cleaners. So those people who sometimes you look at as very low have wield a lot of power. They wield a lot of power. So we need to know who can do what for us. Okay. Then we also learned that we cannot hide away from battles. We must either face them, as in fight them, or make sure at least they end, deal with the issues that are causing them. Okay. Yeah. And then what else? What else have we learned? What have I forgotten?
The Bob view. Never. The boss is always right.
Oh yes, the boss is always right. That is rule number one. Rule number two: if he is wrong, see rule number one. So yeah, that's very important. And whatever you do, make sure your boss shines.
Yes.
Whatever you do, even if you're the one who has done the work, make sure it is the boss who shines. Attribute, give all the credit to him. Talk about him. Never forget to thank him when given a chance. Is there anything else? I think that's so. Just parting shots now. As we close. Maybe I wanted to hear your voice on this one. Kept quiet today. And yet I know you have something.
Mommy is driving.
No, I'm not driving. I'm home.
Or why there's politics at home also, so you don't want to speak.
Yeah, there's some politics at home.
One day we shall talk about the
Because
politics of marriage.
yeah
Yes, Bob.
akatalekeka abantu abanoonya promotion, at work, okay, they need to ask themselves a question. I think I also talked about it. Why should they choose you for that promotion? Okay. I used to, as a manager, I used to do appraisal for my staff. And before becoming a manager, I was also writing personal appraisals for myself. And we always had this, we used to score ourselves. And there was this score called the average score, what it meant. Average score meant when you scored yourself an average on a certain aspect, on a certain kind of section. What the way they describe that aspect is that you are doing your work very well as it is described in your job description. You are following all the procedures, you are, basically, bwebatuuka ku desk yo nti oba kiki bw'oba oli clean buli wamu wali clean. Okitegedde? Now, that score did not, wherever you scored an average score, like the one where it meets all the requirements, you were not ready for a promotion. Okay? So the only way for you to get a promotion is when you have gone beyond your expectation. Imagine mwenna muli bakozi naye nga buli omu akola kyalina okukola, the numbers come in. Kati, who should they choose for the next level? So always, if you want to go for a promotion, yes, play the politics of the workplace, but make sure that you do things that are above and beyond what they expect of you. Stop. Come here.
Thank you, Bob. It reminded me of appraisals we used to do. This Abby knows. 80% was always the competencies, basically how good you are, the skills and all that. But there was always a 20% for what did they call it? Soft skills. Basically, you could be good at your job, but you're poor team player. You could be good at your job, but you're poor communicator and all that. So that would actually count.
No, I actually, Jet, even team player, you are expected to be a team player. That is expected. So when you ticked all those boxes and you had 100%, you were still not ready for a promotion. The person who is ready for promotion is the one who was going beyond what they're expected of to do. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying.
No, I get it.
When you get a job, you expect to be a team player. That is obvious. You cannot work in isolation. When you get a job, you're expected to do what you're supposed to do. Promotion. How do you, play the politics right and you get promotions and you move on? You need to go beyond and above what you're expected to do. In addition to knowing the politics we've talked about, or knowing how to, who has the power and all that, you have to have that other addition.
Yeah, thank you. That's important. But you've actually also reminded me. People used to complain when they were just told, no, you've just met expectations. As in, you've done what is expected of you. People expected bonuses, promotions. Abby, do you hear me? Just for doing their work. Because we had this bonus culture where every end of year they would give bonuses to the top performers. So everyone wanted to be in those top performers. So they would say, but I did my job very well. Yeah, but that's expected. You just met expectations. Anyway, thank you. Thank you very much. I think let's end it here. Politics is part of us. If we don't go for it, it will come for us. So may we always be watchful. And may we always win.
And moderator, for people who are here at this Zoom today, please, whenever you reach at your workplace, you pray. You pray in your heart. You don't need to be this religious and sprinkle water. No, that's not Christianity. You pray in your heart. Say a prayer or invoke Jesus Christ. We live in a dangerous world. We need our Lord to be with us and to show us a few things. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And amen to that. God bless you all. Thank you for joining. We'll
Mm.
see you again on Monday. Our moderator will be Isaiah.
Not Professor Servid. Okay, bye.